So one thing I'm really big on doing is trying to put as many flags in my mind as possible to catch when I'm saying something that doesn't make any sense to myself or that doesn't reflect reality. And 3 flags that I have that I learned from the book Crucial Conversations are when I'm telling myself a villain story, a victim story, or a helpless story. And these are described by the book as being clever stories where if we're doing something that we know is not really serving us very well, we can excuse it by telling one of these stories. And the villain and the victim stories generally relate to past behavior that we're trying to excuse, and the helpless stories typically relate to justifying not taking future actions that would be helpful to us. So I want you guys to be able to recognize these when you're doing them, so I thought the fastest way to achieve that would just be to run through a list of some examples I came up with for those. So here's my list. Villain story. He just doesn't care about other people. He's selfish and lazy. My boss is a control freak. She's completely irrational. How could he do that to me? He didn't have to say it like that. It was just inconsiderate. Okay, and the tagline of those stories would be, it's all your fault. So not only is the person doing something that's causing you some sort of inconvenience, but it's all their fault, not yours at all, and they probably even have an evil motive. So that's the villain story. Now let me tell some victim stories. I'm never the one yelling at him. I do all the work around here and no one appreciates it. He made me do it. I tried my best and no one listened. I was just trying to help. It wasn't my fault. And so with victim stories, the tagline here is, it's not my fault. And this is, my motives were noble and pure, and I did my best, and, what can I do? And those also never quite reflect reality. And so the last type, the helpless story, here's some examples. He's never receptive when I try to talk to him. What's the point of trying? I've tried everything. My job isn't just the sort of place where you can talk about that stuff. I was going to get some work done, but how could I when I saw that story on Facebook? There's no reasoning with her. If she doesn't even know what she wants, then what can I possibly do? And here the tagline is, there's nothing else I can do. So these are just some brief examples, and in my next video I'll talk about what to do once you notice yourself telling these to get more of a complete story that's not so distorted.